a black man who's an activist was out with his friend who happens to be white, okay? According to the narrative, 11 to 13 white men decided to beat him up. Let's put up a picture of Kevin Maxson. That's Kevin, okay? Black activist in Swatara Township of Pennsylvania was beaten up in a bar's parking lot while he was waiting to be picked up by a friend. Maxson told the local news he called the attack racially motivated, saying he's known around the Harrisburg area as an anti-racism activist, and that the group of maybe a dozen white men surrounded the two men and started slinging slurs around before engaging in the violent attack, okay? Let me tell you why this is important to note. This is happening more and more in this country. We've been here before. This was commonplace in the 50s and 60s and much so in the 70s. History is starting to repeat itself. Now, there are those who will tell you that racism is isolated, that it is not systemic, it is not cultural. They would say things like, America's not a racist country. Well, that's untrue. Because culture is what we're talking about. Does America have a racist culture? Yes. Culture simply means normative. Is racism normative in areas throughout the country? Yes. Because if it was abnormal, you would not find 11 to 13 white men willing to beat up a black person because they are black. This is cultural. For them, it is normative. This is their, what we call in sociology, subnormality. A group of maybe 11 to 13 men surrounded us and started yelling racial slurs and telling him he was a traitor and started assaulting us. Now, who's the traitor? The white friend. They told us they were Pagans Biker Club. That's what Maxson said. They were from the West Virginia area and they migrated up here. So let me specify what this is. This is a gang. These are criminals. These are thugs. There I fixed it, okay? That's who they are. And they do not deserve to be free after committing a criminal assault. Prior to the attack, Mr. Maxson tried to diffuse the situation unsuccessfully. He said, and I quote, "I told him, listen, we don't want no trouble. I'm trying to make sure my friend gets home safely. I don't want y'all, I don't have no gripes or agenda with y'all." But Maxson was still reportedly left badly cut and bruised after attempting to fend off the attackers. According to ABC, the police eventually arrived to the scene and arrested a few accused attackers who were still lingering around the parking lot. It's unclear how many were arrested or what, if anything, they were charged with. But Maxson reportedly also alerted the AG's office and Swatara Township commissioners to what happened. Nothing has been listed on the record as far as remedy, okay? These are important stories to highlight. The media has an obligation to tell the truth about society. Now, here on Indisputable, we do something a little different. We don't simply give a mirror, we provide direction, okay? I'm glad that we have the opportunity to talk openly and freely about these topics. But it is sad that they're continuing to happen and happen even more so during this era. Make no mistake about it. Death threats to those who speak up against racial injustice will continue. My inbox is flooded daily with insane individuals who threaten my life. I am tagged on social media every single day from somebody who wishes harm to me. Here's the reality that we are in. Now, there are those who will say, oh, these are just individuals who are single and they should be out here and not part of the structure of America, the culture of America. They are America. Ben, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, like, so the history behind this is really important for people to remember. So as soon as segregation was made illegal, right wingers in the United States put on this mask of libertarianism, where they're like, oh, all of a sudden we don't like the government anymore, and all the government is so bad. And then Donald Trump comes around and convinces those people who would simply put on a mask to take it off, right? And that's what we're the situation where we're in right now, where that segregationist movement, right? Those people in favor of segregation never went away. They just hid themselves for a teeny little bit. And now that Donald Trump has sort of said the magic words, they're all taking their masks off and doing exactly what they were doing 40 years ago.
Yeah, and you see they never evolved mentally, psychologically, socially, right? They never said, you know what, this is a new era, a new day. Things that we believed before were wrong. So because they never evolved socially and psychologically, what lessons did they teach their children? Because those bikers, that gang, those groups, or that group of thugs, they were taught by somebody, okay? And they were not taught to be woke. They were not taught to be open-minded. They were not taught to love people as they are. They were taught a very different ideology than what we consider to be progressive, loving, tolerable. We should celebrate the differences of others. The country, the United States of America, literally is supposed to be a nation of diversity, and that's what makes us strong. But you see time and time again, these acts of violence against individuals who look different, who happen to have a different ideology about social progress in this country, and they hold a different political belief. But these guys are trying to solve these problems by way of violence.